Question 6. Which of the following are the principal features of the Government of India Act, 1919? 1. The introduction of diarchy in the executive government of the provinces. 2. The introduction of separate communal elections for Muslims. 3. Devolution of legislative authority by the center to the provinces. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. A. Only one. B. Explanation. Option C is correct. The Government of India Act, 1919 was passed by the British Parliament. The Act embodied the reform recommended in the report of the Secretary of the State for India, Edwin Montagu, and the Viceroy Lord Chelmsford. The Act provided for the introduction of a dual form of government at provinces known as diarchy. The subjects of administration were divided into two categories, reserved and transferred. As far as the question of a separate electoral system for Muslims is concerned, the provision had already been made by the Act of 1909. The Question 7. In the context of Indian history, the principle of diarchy refers to A. Division of the central legislature into two houses. B. Introduction of double government, i.e. central and state governments. C. Having two sets of rulers, one in London and another in Delhi. Explanation. Option D is correct. Diarchy has been derived from the Greek word diarchi, which means double rule. In the context of Indian history, the principle of diarchy refers to the division of legislation subjects into central and provincial categories. Comparatively important subjects, reserved subject, such as police, jail, justice, finance, and irrigation were to be Question 8. In the Government of India Act 1919, the functions of provincial government were divided into reserved and transferred subjects. Which of the following were treated as reserved subjects? 1. Administration of justice. 2. Local self-government. 3. Land revenue. 4. Police. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1, 2, and 3. B. 2. Explanation. Option C is correct. The Government of India Act 1919 introduced diarchy at the provincial level. The provincial government's subjects were separated into two divisions: reserved subjects and transferred subjects. Subjects under the transferred list are local self-government, public works, sanitation, industrial research. The subjects under reserved list included are judicial administration, press, land revenue, 9. Consider the following statements. 1. The Montagu-Chelmsford reforms of 1919 recommended granting voting rights to all the women above the age of 21. 2. The Government of India Act of 1935 gave women reserved seats in legislature. Which of the statements given above is/are correct? A. 1 only. B. Explanation. Option B is correct. In 1918, when Britain granted limited suffrage to women property holders, the law did not apply to British citizens in other parts of the empire. Despite the All India Women's Deputation led by Sarojini Naidu to Edwin Samuel Montagu, then Secretary of State, India women's demands were ignored in the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Though they were not granted voting rights, nor the right to stand in elections, the Government of India Act 1919 allowed provincial councils to determine if women could vote, provided they met stringent property, income, or educational levels. Government of India Act 19 Question 10. With reference to Indian civil services, which of the following statements is/are correct? 1. Government of India Act 1919 provided for a separate examination for the Indian civil service, which was to be held in India. 2. In the Indian civil services in 1941. The percentage of Indians was more as compared to the Europeans. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Code A. Explanation. Option C is correct. Lord Macaulay's report of the Select Committee of British Parliament, the concept of merit-based civil services in India was introduction in 1854. For this purpose, Civil Services Commission was set up in London and competitive examinations started in 1885. Government of India Act 1919 provided for a separate examination for the Indian Civil Service, which was to be held in India, first in Allahabad and later in Delhi. In 1941, in Indian Civil Service, the percentage of Indians was more as compared to Europeans.